First of all, thank you very much, Martin, for asking me to speak. It's always a pleasure to be associated with this project. We really see this project as innovative, pioneering, probably the fullest expression of the implementation of what is excellent national policy. And it's only in the context of the national policy and in the context of what we're trying to do that it can be fully understood in terms of just quite how pioneering it is. So I think it is important just to make one correction. People are talking about Genio giving money. Genio, we don't have any money. We just channel money that other people give us, primarily the HSE, it has to be said. So it's to the credit of the HSE that they have channeled funding that we've been privileged to manage on their behalf to get it to projects like this. And Genio really is an organisation that works in the background to try and add value where we can to help people really live self-directed lives in a supported way if that's what they need. So the involvement of agencies like IWA and HSC, they're the agencies that have really made this happen, and we've just been doing a little bit of helping in the background, and that's not to be overly modest, that's absolutely true. So given that we're down to 5 minutes, I'm not actually going to use all of these slides, but I think it is important just to realise as Irish citizens that we are in a context where all of our national policy in the health and social service area has this general thrust of enabling people, supporting people to participate, improving quality of life, etc. I've just taken that piece out of the policy because I actually think that our national disability policy in Ireland is really incredible. You know, like when you're in a different country and you realise quite how brave this is, you know, compared to what other national policies say, which are often excellent as well. But the thing that jumps out at me always from ours is that last bit of the phrase there. So it's about moving away from the group-based service delivery towards a model of person-centred and individually chosen supports. I think that's a really brave thing for the Department of Health to have done. And I think it's a wonderful example of how this can be. This is a really concrete expression of how people can individually choose their supports. Okay? And then we're all in this context of this large reform agenda, which is about supposedly putting the customer at the centre, delivering improved outcomes, using savings we can make to reinvest, etc. So at Genio, we're interested in this project because it fits exactly with our mission, our basic belief, which is that everybody deserves and needs opportunities to participate in communities that value their contributions regardless of their age, their disability, their other perceived disadvantage. So that's our basic, that's what really drives us. And of course at AT the work revolves around achieving real equality, choice and independence. So it's a complete fit in terms of what we would be trying to fund. Our interest is really in making sure that people are supported, in helping government to implement that terrific national policy, and to try to align practice with policy in a way that's cost effective. Okay? I won't go through these slides. You can look at these on our website if you want to know how we do this, how we're involved, what kind of projects and grant streams we've been involved in, the projects that are around the country at this point. Okay? The success. I would say this maybe just on this slide. You know, we're coming to the end of a 5-year demonstration period, and you know, in preparing for this, Martin was saying, like, you know, what were your reservations or concerns before you got involved with this project? And I thought, well, I didn't really. It didn't take much of a leap of faith because I knew Martin and his colleagues were extremely able men who were well able to run their own lives. So we didn't have any kind of reservations in that regard. I suppose fears might be, you know, in demonstrating or helping people demonstrate what's possible, then how does the system get ready to allow that to happen? And this is one of several direct payments projects that Genio is involved in supporting. Some of them have less elaborate routes and involve brokerage and don't involve setting up individual companies. There are different ways to do this. This is a very good way, not for everybody. Other ways are equally good and again not for everybody. But it's obviously challenging a system that, as Simon Harris actually described it recently for any of you who were at the Inclusion Conference, he talked about people with disabilities needing to be involved in making decisions about where the funding goes, rather than handing large cheques to large organisations and then letting the people with disabilities run after them to find where that money is. That was really, really an interesting statement from the Junior Minister in Public Expenditure and Reform, notwithstanding the fact that some of those agencies do excellent work. But that's the situation we're in at the moment. So when we talk about why was this a smart investment for us, it's a smart investment because it gives control completely to the person who needs the control, the individual who needs to choose their own supports. And what's the best way for any of us to have control in our lives and choose what we need, have the money to buy it? It's just as basic as that. So absolutely, there's no argument in terms of this being a really good project to invest in. The challenge for the system is, having gone down the road for so long to block grant large agencies, how do you unbundle that finance to really help people get what they need? So from the provider point of view, and I understand there's a question earlier, I would say, it's really time for us to back as much as possible the people who need the service to articulate what it is they need to live the lives that everybody else takes for granted. And it's the role of the provider not to provide services that they think might work, no matter how elaborated the menu is, but to actually be of service to people who are well able to decide for themselves what it is they need. And what everybody needs is what all of us need, what everybody needs, the same kinds of things. So there's no rocket science in this. It's about giving the balance of power and tipping the balance of power in favour of the people who need to make the decisions about their own lives and need to be supported to do that. Okay? I'll just cut there. I don't know if that's 5 minutes, but at least it's an effort at 5 minutes.
Pretty good.
Okay. Well, from